The time is now 6:02, and I would like to call the Rock County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Today is Thursday, July 11th, 6:02 p.m. At this time, we will have invocation and pledge of allegiance by Supervisor Pennycook.
We must continue to be their voice. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with hearts burdened by the plight of those who suffer under the scourge of human trafficking. We acknowledge the dignity and worth of every individual created in your image, and we seek your guidance and strength to fight this heinous crime. Lord, we ask for your deliverance for all victims of human trafficking. Give them hope and courage and lead them to safety and healing. Surround them with compassionate people who can offer support and a path to freedom. We also lift up our leaders in Rock County, including those who may be present in this room, and ask for wisdom and integrity. We are deeply concerned about the reports of corruption and lack of decisive action against human trafficking. Shine your light on any area of darkness, expose corruption, and bring about justice and accountability. Father, we pray that you reveal any hidden agendas that hinder our fight against human trafficking. Uncover the truth and bring light to any deceit or manipulation that seeks to protect those who perpetrate these crimes. Let those involved in any cover-up feel the weight of their actions and the pressing need for transparency and justice. Let their hearts be filled with unease until they turn towards righteousness. Lord, grant us the courage to speak out and take action against these injustices. Stir the hearts of our community to be vigilant and proactive in protecting the vulnerable. Let us not turn a blind eye to the suffering of our neighbors, but instead be the hands and feet of your mercy and justice. We ask for all of these in your holy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is roll call. Bob Zine. Here. Belke. Here. Bostwick. Here. Bryan.
Here.
Cullen.
Here.
Fugelseth.
Here.
Gorman.
Here.
Holman.
Here.
Knutson. Marshall. Mulwiney.
Here.
Pier.
Rosen.
Pennycook.
Here.
Rashkin.
Here.
Ringhan.
Here.
Ryan.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
Schulz.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
Stone.
Here.
Sutter.
Here.
Sutherland.
Here.
Tillman.
Here.
Towns.
Here.
Whitledge.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Woodman.
Here.
Levy.
Here.
29 present, 0 absent.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item. Item 4, consent agenda. 4A, adoption of agenda. 4B, approval of minutes from June 27th, 2024. 4D, recognition of county employees or others. D1, recognizing account specialist 1, Cheryl Hall. D2, recognizing Kathleen Knutson. That is the end of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Would anyone like anything removed from the consent agenda? Supervisor Bostwick.
No, I'm just moving the consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Supervisor Bostwick is the first, Supervisor Towns for the second. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Next item, please.
Next item, item 5, public hearing. There is not a public hearing this evening. Item 6, citizen participation, communications, and announcements. We have several people signed up to speak this evening. When I state your name, please come forward. Come up through the middle aisle to avoid all the cords on the sides. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak. Please state your name and municipality. I will state your name, and I will also have the person on deck so we can keep this rolling. First person up is Patrick Lyons. On deck is Kathy Hansen. Come up right over here. Yep. It's on.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Patrick Lyons. I live in the city of Janesville on Ruger Avenue. I'm here today to just talk about the support for ARPA funds and Can-Do Industries. I've been volunteering with the Can-Do organization for about the last 15 years, and I consider Can-Do to be a huge asset to not only Janesville, Milton, but the whole county. CANDO has quietly and consistently carried out its mission for over 60 years, and it serves some of the most vulnerable in our society. CANDO has been working as well for much of that time and for many of its programs directly with the county itself. CANDO provides dignity, compassion, patience, and purpose for the clients, client families, and friends of the clients. CANDO services are a lifeline for the families and clients that are served. Because of CANDO services, the clients and their families are allowed some consistency in their life. Many are allowed to work and hold down jobs, and provides a lot of respite for the families. The amount of demand is unknown. There's wait lists for almost all of our programs that we have. CANDO is going through a critical change. They're moving from Janesville to Milton. This is a good change. It's going to allow the programs to expand. It's going to serve more people. Again, the demand is huge for their services. I believe CANDO is well deserving of some assistance with the creation and expansion of new programs that we're going to need as we see our elderly population expand. So we respectfully ask that if there's any ARPA funds or other funding, that you consider CANDO as a viable alternative or a viable recipient for those funds. And also, I thank you all for your dedication to public service. I know there's a lot of hours and stuff that you guys put in, and it doesn't go unappreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Kathy Hansen. On deck is Doug Rebout.
I'm Kathy Hansen. I am the Executive Director of CANDO Industries. CANDO helps more than 200 clients with disabilities. It gives them a chance to learn, find acceptance, purpose, and thrive among their peers. Disabilities is a term that can be defined in many different ways, and our programs are designed to fit the specific needs of individuals. We serve people with Down syndrome, autism, developmentally disabled, Alzheimer's, dementia, and the list goes on. Through the years, we have developed new programs based on the needs of our community. We have evolved with techniques and solutions to help the people that we serve. We have partnered with Rock County on the majority of our programs, if not all of them. CANDO is the only Rock County state-certified adult daycare program. We serve only 56 of thousands of people with dementia. By 2040, Rock County's population of individuals age 85 and over is expected to increase by 120%. The number of Rock County residents with dementia is expected to increase by 110%. With expansion as our goal, the new building we are occupying will allow us to almost double the number of people that we serve. We have a living and learning program that serves people from 18 to 24 that helps them with life skills. We have our pre-vocational where people can come to work that couldn't necessarily work in the community. We have our day services program that provides respite to families with a loved one with dementia. We have our Minds in Motion where there are older people that might have beginning stages of dementia but want to be out in the community, and we take them out in the community 80% of the time. Daily living skills where we help people put a budget together. We go into their homes. We help them be prepared for emergencies. We help them with technical assistance. We help them with all kinds of living skills.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Next is Doug Rebout. On deck is Heidi Deininger.
Hi, I'm Doug Rebout, Town of Janesville. I'm here on behalf of Rock County Farm Bureau. This Tuesday, I know this is short notice, but we are hosting an event called Focus on Ag, where we talk with politicians, future politicians, people on ballots, and educate them on the importance of agriculture in Rock County. So I am here to invite the board to come out. It's at 11 o'clock on Tuesday at the Randy Hughes Farm, which is on Highway 51, 4031 US Highway 51, right across from the airport, right next to Shine. And we will be serving lunch. You get a tour of their farm and their facilities. And like I said, we just want to educate everyone on the importance of agriculture here in Rock County, because it is very, very important. And I know there's a lot of new board members, so we would love to see a whole bunch of you there. If I got a couple more seconds, something else that just came up, the Can Do. I totally support that. I have a daughter with special needs. She was in the Live and Learning program. Please support that if you can.
Thank you. Next speaker is Heidi Deiniger. On deck is Letitia Webb.
Hello, my name is Heidi Deiniger, Executive Director with the YWCA of Rock County. I live in Town Union in the Evansville area, Town of Union. I was in both the Health Services meeting this week as well as the Finance Committee meeting just prior to this. And although my intent was not to come up here to defend our organization, I feel like I need to. During both of those meetings, our name specifically was mentioned as a nonprofit that may potentially have been receives excessive funds, and we do not. There are two major funding sources within the community. They are United Way and they are Rock County. We receive no United Way funds, not one penny from United Way. So the only help that we've received recently has been from Rock County. Our shelter has received money in the past, and so has our care house, $10,000 for each most of the time. One is a full-service, 365-day-a-year, 24-hour facility that helps people that have been traumatized, and we pay for everything for 9 months while they're with us. Our transitional housing, they stay with us for 18 months. We absorb so much of the cost trying to get them back on their feet again. I want you to be aware that we are not an organization that's a large nonprofit. We are a small nonprofit in Rock County. And if you look at the things that were mentioned in both of those meetings, that maybe there needs to be some research done, you will find that our YWCA is run with integrity. We have a strategic plan. We are forecasting over the next 3 years. Our goal is to grow. We've already grown. We've grown our revenue already, and we will continue to make plans to grow our revenue. We are an amazing organization that saved Rock County so much money from the services that we offer in all of those areas. There might have been one time during COVID that we may have received $50,000. We received more money this year because there was ARPA funding, and we needed it because we had a hard time. We lost half of our revenue coming out of COVID in childcare. And so it's been a slow road to recovery. We lost 100 children. We're growing by 5 to 10 kids a year. That's how slow our growth has been, no matter what we do from a marketing standpoint. So when you think about the YWCA, think about all the good things that we do in this community to support women who are trying to get back on their feet again. We do countless case management to help them feel better, to help their families feel better, to help their kids thrive. So when you think of the YWCA, please think these good thoughts.
Thank you. Next up is Letitia Webb. On deck is Brittany De La O.
Hi, my name is Leticia Webb, and I live here in Janesville. I'm here to speak on the YWCA 2 to 3-year-old program. It's hard to find affordable childcare with availability. Most places are very expensive or they are at max capacity. This program would be affordable and would open more available spots. It's important for children to have proper care. In order for a parent to provide that, they need to work. And in order for a parent to work, they need childcare. This program would not only provide childcare, but it would also help create jobs. This program would provide affordable childcare and it would be easier for parents to keep an eye on their kids, because we have what's called ProCare, and you can see when your kid is checked in or checked out. As a single income family, this program would allow my family, along with plenty of others, to go from 1 income to 2. That is a very large number for a lot of families. It would lift so much stress on my family and the other families that this would benefit from. Without childcare, it's hard for parents to to work. Please help give parents some relief and help provide the childcare that they need for their 2 and 3-year-olds.
Thank you. Next up is Brittany De La O. On deck is Josh Growe. I'm not sure if I said that right.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you for hearing everyone speak today. My name is Brittany De La O. I am from Town of Harmony. I am speaking on behalf of YWCA Rock County. I am aware that this is part of the future discussion coming up here on August 8th, but I just want to make you aware and speak on behalf of the child care program that we are looking to have support of with ARPA funds. In 2022, 17,000 babies were born in Rock County. That means there's 17,000 2-year-olds that are potentially in the need of child care. Both Beloit and Janesville, the 2 biggest seats in Rock County, have done research on the need and the lack of accessibility of affordable childcare, both looking at how to provide that access to the community. YWCA heard that, and we looked to see what we could do to help, especially being very central between both of those big seats within the county. Our opportunity to build out a child care program for 2s and 3s would offer a lot of affordability for families. It is a major intersection and juncture between the 2 communities. So for families that live in Beloit working in Janesville or vice versa, it offers access. And that is one of the biggest issues that Rock County is seeing, and Janesville and Beloit specifically looking at those problems. As an organization, we look to see what we can do to support the community. And that is exactly what we're looking to do with our child care program. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Josh Growe. On deck is Steve Schumacher.
Good evening. Thank you for having me today. My name is Joshua Gowie. I am the president of Propel Forward, a new nonprofit that's located here in Janesville, Wisconsin. We are hosting a new event and wanted to come today on behalf of this board just to raise awareness and try to garner support as we try to bring a new event to the Rock County area. It's called Pistons and Props. It's a community event that's going to be out at the Janesville Airport or the Southern Wisconsin Regional Airport. It's a community event where we're trying to make it a rounded event to hit every avenue from cars enthusiasts, AV enthusiasts, and a lot for our families in the area. Right now we have a large surplus of historical aircraft that are coming in. We're currently expecting about 4 World War II aircraft, another half a dozen other historical aircraft. In addition to that, we have a car show, live music and food and music. And then lastly, we have a large children's and education area. We're ending the evening with a partnership with Echo. As a fundraiser for Echo, they are having a hangar dance that is out at Rev Aviation out at the airport as well to support Echo's mission. In addition to this event, our nonprofit is seeking to go forward with an air show in 2026 back at Southern Wisconsin Regional Airport. We have 2 main goals as a nonprofit. One is to bring that air show back to the community and help bring not only the income that will bring in for the community, but also the increase what makes this county already a great county to live in. Supplement to that as well as we're also trying to bring in a lot of education that we can bring in, especially in the aviation industry. We're already working on some STEM activities for next year that will be out during the school year. We started this year as a new event, but we still managed to get some activities done with Craig, along with partnering with the Kelch Aviation Museum, Women in Aviation, Echo, and some other nonprofits in the area. So as we move forward, please hope to come out to our event, spread the word, and look for us down the road as we try to expand this community event into the Rock County area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Steve Schumacher. On deck is Brenton Vivian.
Hi there, I'm Steve Schumacher. I live in Janesville, Wisconsin. I'm here to talk about the Boys and Girls Club. And I now see how difficult your job is, so thank you all for what you do. I've been on the Boys and Girls Club board for a little over 26 years. The Boys and Girls Club has been in existence for over 30 years. The club started out with a small building over in the Fourth Ward, about 3,000 square foot. We grew into what is now the existing building, which is about 12,000 square foot. We are now on our way to a 35,000 square foot building, and that campaign started about a year ago now. We're trying to raise about $12,000. I want to take you through a little bit of the history of the Boys and Girls Club as well. One of the reasons we have grown so much is not because the Boys and Girls Club just wanted to expand, but really because what happened to poverty here in the United States, but also here in Janesville. More specifically in Janesville, the kids that we served, we had less than 20% of the kids below the poverty line. So the kids we serve are between the ages of 6 and 18. So in the beginning, it was less than 20% of the kids below the poverty line. That peaked to 97% of the kids that we serve are below the poverty line. We are at capacity. We cannot take any more kids. So that was why we were forced to finally just say we have to take this step. We started working on this 3 years ago. We finally thought we were in the right place financially to do that. And so we took this leap. Today, going forward, we have some kind of amazing gaps in our society, and you guys deal with them all the time, it sounds like here. I want you to know that the Boys and Girls Club has so many different programs that we service these kids. And a good example is just sometimes the one thing they need is a safe place, and that's what the Boys and Girls Club is. But they also need things like homework help, things like just a mentor to talk to. Also, sometimes there's programs for getting their grades up. There's a passport to graduating. The Boys and Girls Club provides all of those programs, and they do it at the price of $20. I want to give you 3 quick numbers if I can. I would love you to write them down. There's a waiting list of over 100 kids. 80% of those kids are going to be below the poverty line. 50% of those kids come from single-family families. Those kids will pay nothing other than the $20 a month to come to the Boys and Girls Club. Those families. If they can't pay that, which they can't, we scholarship them. The last number I want you to write down, we are raising $12 million. We are asking you for 2% of that money. There are many organizations, well-deserving, that come here. And I want to know how many of them ask for 2% of their budget. Do they ask for 10, 20, and 30? We have a lot of support in this community. We need a little more support from our city, our governments, our state, and county.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Brenton Vivian. On deck is Mike Flannery.
Good evening. My name is Brenton Vivian from Janesville, and I'm here tonight in support of the resolution allocating ARPA funding to the Boys and Girls Club of Janesville. I currently serve as the club's board president, but more importantly, I'm a former club kid, so I know firsthand the impact that the club can have on our youth. Our youths are at the age where they're trying to figure out how they fit into this crazy world. Besides the academic development from our nationally developed programming, our youths are getting the social development through the experience they have at the club. For me, club was a safe place where I could be my true self, where I could interact with kids that came from different backgrounds and different life experiences, where I could figure out my own identity away from the craziness that was happening in society, at school, or at home. It was a place where I could just be a kid. It's because of the impact the club had on me that I stand here as an advocate and a voice for the youth of our community. As Steve mentioned, our waitlist continues to grow. This funding will allow us to expand our outreach so more kids can have the opportunity to have an experience similar to what I had growing up. Our community needs this. Our kids need this. A vote in favor of this resolution is a vote not only for our youths, but a vote for our county's future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Mike Flannery. On deck is Rebecca Vium.
Good evening. Hello, my name is Mike Faraday, and I am the Boys and Girls Club board member and a club parent. Today I wanted to share my story on how the Janesville Club impacted my daughter's life. Excuse me. Back in 2019, I moved to Janesville, which was closer to my job at Blaine Supply after a recent divorce. This move would impact my daughter greatly, as in a new city, new house, new school. I was lost when I was looking for after school and summer care. I searched everywhere for affordable care that served our needs, and most importantly, was a stable environment, which is what she needed at this time. After searching and a lot of stress, I found an opening at the Boys and Girls Club. To say this was one of my best decisions for her is an understatement. The club offered everything we needed in a truly difficult time in her life. She will also be joining the teen club next year. She made great friendships and has evolved into an amazing young lady. They also helped with homework, and as most parents agree, is a true blessing, as I don't understand the new math. It also gave me a sense of peace to help me focus on my career, knowing that Morgan was in such a great environment at the Boys and Girls Club. As I tell you my experience, please picture an additional 300 people that are willing to share their stories, their new stories, just like mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Rebecca Viam. On deck is Jennifer Thompson.
Good evening. I'm Rebecca Viam, City of Janesville, and I'm the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Janesville. When I sit in my office, I have the opportunity to hear club members talking to each other right outside my door. Some of these conversations are fun, childish, and innocent. Others are very difficult to hear. These conversations remind me of the opportunities we provide to the kids every day that we serve. Conversations like an 8-year-old sharing with her peers that her dad is in jail. Unfazed by this admission, her peers ask a series of questions such as how long will he be in jail, which jail is he at, and then calculating how old she will be when dad gets out. A week later, her mom loses her job. Instead of terminating services because of her inability to pay, we provide a scholarship so this child has the opportunity of safety and consistency at the club during this difficult time of the loss of her father in the home, and the opportunity for her mom to know that her child is cared for while she looks for a new job. Or conversations and opportunities that we provided a 7th grade member who reported to our staff for the very first time to anyone that she was sexually abused when she was 8 years old, and the perpetrator is still around in her life. We provided her the opportunities to get the resources she needs to be safe and begin her healing journey. Or the opportunities for us to break the cycle for the siblings who are born with multiple drugs in their system and now living with adopted parents. Yes, we provide the most affordable after-school and summer programming, $20 a month for after-school care, $70 a week for full-time summer care, but we do so much more. In the words of our beloved late campaign chair, Bill Kennedy, it's never a bad idea to invest in our youth. It's a necessary idea. You have the ability to join us in investing in our future with our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Jennifer Thompson.
Good evening. I'm going to be completely honest to you. I was not prepared for this tonight. I'm here for another agenda item completely to speak on if I need to. But as I printed the agenda out tonight, I noticed something on here that it does have a little bit of a passion in my heart, and that's your opportunity to award a contract for the nursing program renovation at the UW Whitewater Rock County campus. I read that and I got very excited because I have a daughter who has spent 2 years at UW Milwaukee. She's a very smart, motivated, career-focused young woman and beautiful. And she spent 2 years at Milwaukee. I spent $40,000. They encourage kids to go and get their career moving. However, Sydney did not get accepted into the UW Milwaukee program in nursing. They accept 70 young adults. And there were over 200 that applied. And So I'm here because Sydney was very upset. I said, come home, let's put your big girl panties on and let's figure this out. And we did. She got accepted at the Edgewood program that's working at Rock County. And I am so excited for her because of course I get my daughter home, but I'm not gonna be spending as much money. And I guess I'm encouraging you to think about this, awarding the county facility for that, because we have children, we have young adults in the community that want to work and be in nursing. And she works at the hospital here, loves it, takes care of people, is genuinely interested in this program. And we have a decent income in our home. $40,000 in Milwaukee to send her off is tough. Having her home and going to the campus and getting a good education with the proper equipment speaks volumes to the county and our community, and bringing up kids that want to work here and help our community. So I'm just saying that because I think this is on the agenda, and I think that it's a wonderful opportunity for us to do that.
Thank you. That is the last speaker that signed up to speak. Was there anyone else that wishes to speak tonight?
Seeing none, is there communication from supervisors this evening? Supervisor Boswick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Some of you longer tenured supervisors might remember Marilyn Jensen. She served a couple of terms with us. Recently, her husband Jerry passed away, and I'll just mention a couple of details. There will be a visitation this Saturday from 9:30 until 10:30, and then a service at 10:30. Both of those will be at Trinity Episcopal Church, right across the street here, and that will be followed by a luncheon at Ortmeyer Hall, which is next door to the church. So if you're so inclined, stop by. Thank you.
Supervisor Bobley?
Thank you. I'm a member of the airport board for the last year, and I realized that there's more to the airport than Bessie's Diner. And if you've driven between Beloit and Janesville the last couple of years, you've seen a lot of activity at that airport, construction activity. It's truly an asset. I've learned so much, and it's truly an asset to our county. And I'm just going to reiterate what Joshua Gowie said about the Pistons and Props. It's a week from Saturday, July 20th, I believe. You've got everybody has their a media release in front of them, so I won't read it, but I just want to emphasize it's a family-friendly event from 9 to 5, and there's music all day, and the big band dance at night. The hangar dance is, the group is Ladies Must Swing. If you've ever heard them, they're fantastic. But just another way that we can plug the Southern Wisconsin Regional Airport as a fine asset to Rock County. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Supervisor Mawini?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At Tuesday's Public Works Committee meeting, Tom Presney did a presentation on cicadas, which, I mean, there were things I didn't know. I thought, well, that's fine. But I have branches here that I'd like to share with everybody. If you look at the branch, you'll see there's slits in it. When the cicadas came out, they went and they hung on the tree. The females lay their eggs in the slits, and then they fall to the ground. Looking at the pictures up there on the board, this is all at Heritage Park. Oh, here. I have plenty. This is at Heritage Park, and Heritage Park did have quite a number of cicadas. And this is what happens to the branches. The cicadas fall off, they go back down in the ground for 17 more years, so then in 17 years, they'll come back and visit us. I won't be here, but... Oh my I could come back as a cicada, right? So if you look at those pictures, I mean, they said that it's quite noticeable out there.
I'm just saying.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other communications from supervisors? Seeing none, any announcements for staff? No announcements from staff. Next item, please.
Next item, item 7, nominations, appointments, and confirmations. We do not have any additional. Item 8, recognition of county employees or others. 8A, recognizing Al Sweeney.
There's a motion by Boswick. Is there a second? Second by Mawini, Supervisor Boswick. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none.
Welcome back.
Okay, this is the second meeting in a row that I get to do this, which is great. The only bad thing is that we're losing these great supervisors, so it's kind of bittersweet. I will start out with the resolution. It's packed with stuff, but it'll go quickly. Whereas Alan Sweeney served on the county board from 2006 to 2024, representing District 2, and whereas Alan has devoted many hours to faithfully serving on the following committees: Standing Committees, Agriculture, Land Conservation, he was vice chair there; Rail Transit Commission, he was chair; Planning and Development Committee, chair; County Board Staff Committee, well, we already said that one. Yeah. Other committees, Community Action Program, Economic Development Loan Review Board, where he was the chair; Jampo Slats, Rock Koshkonong Lake District, I believe he was chair on that one, right? That was omitted. Work group to study high nitrate levels in Rock County's groundwater, he was chair of that. Purchase of agricultural conservation easements, that's the PACE Council, he was chair of that. And Ad hoc Broadband Committee. Whereas the Rock County Board of Supervisors recognizes Alan Sweeney for his dedicated service to the citizens of Rock County and commends him for his contributions to the betterment of Rock County. Now therefore be it resolved that the Rock County Board of Supervisors, duly assembled on this 11th day of July, 2024, does hereby recognize Alan Sweeney for his service and extend best wishes in his future endeavors. Okay, I have a few things to say. I'd like to roll back the clock a few years here to, I'd say, October 2005. I believe it was Forward Janesville put on a workshop for people that were considering running for office for the first time. I was looking to run for county board for the first time, so I went, and Russ Podzilny, I think, was the facilitator. Anyway, the room was full of kind of nervous people. Everybody's looking around, you know, not really knowing what to expect. And a lot of people are looking at the people around them and thinking, is that person in my district? Is that somebody I have to run against? Well, I sat near a guy who had reddish curly hair, and I'm thinking, is this guy in my district? Do I have to run against him? So I'm kind of observing, and I'm going, the dude seems serious. The dude seems confident. Wow, the dude seems smart. If he's my opponent, the dude's gonna kick my butt. So I was really worried about that. Come to find out, he was far from my district. We didn't have to run against each other. We both won our races. I was on my way to succeeding the great Jackie Wood, and Al was on his way to succeeding the great Dick Towns. Big shoes to fill in both cases. So over the years, I've found Al to be a trusted colleague and a good friend. I actually sat right next to Al for 16 straight years, 16. And on top of that, we were on a lot of the same committees together. We were on the Ag Committee, Land Conservation, Staff, Ad hoc Broadband, Ad hoc PACE, and the Nitrate Work Group. And it seemed like all these committees that we were on together, either he was the chair and I was vice, or the other way around. it got to the point where, you know, as a little bit of a joke, whenever we'd see each other, we'd greet each other with, "Hi, Mr. Chair, hi, Mr. Chair." So even if you look on my phone right now, if you look up his contact, you're not going to find him under A for Al or S for Sweeney. It'll be under M for Mr. Chair. Sorry about that, Chair Levy. It's nothing personal. So, you know, I read off the resolution, and I did that on purpose to show the scope of the service that Al has provided for us. And while the list is impressive, it's not the quantity of committees that Al's been on, but the quality of service that he has provided. It seemed like anytime there was a committee that had something big or important or contentious on tap, Al was the one that was selected to lead, and he did not disappoint. I can give you 3 cases in point. One was the groundwater nitrate work group. It was discovered that Rock County has some really high nitrate levels in the drinking water. So what do we do about it? Well, first of all, we have to figure out what the cause is. That started that particular committee. Al was selected to lead that, and he did a great job. It's still going at this point. Another one was the Rock Koshkonong Lake District. What this really is a consortium of landowners around Lake Koshkonong that look out for the betterment of the lake. And in particular, they keep a close eye on the Indian Ford Dam, make sure it's functioning properly, it gets the necessary repairs, because that controls the lake levels, and that impacts a lot of people. Before Al was appointed to that particular committee was very chaotic and dysfunctional. I went to a couple of their annual meetings before Al got on, and you know, I was like, wow, how did they get anything done? So Russ Podzilny appointed Al. He said, "Al, I want you to straighten that out." And guess what? He did. He did. People are now getting along. Everything is stabilized. The dam is in great shape, and that's pretty much due to Al's efforts. The other example I want to point to is the Ad Hoc PACE Exploratory Group. We had a group looking into forming a PACE program, and that was an ad hoc committee. And that was a big group. I think, what were there, Al, 15 people? Yes. Something like, yeah, 15 people. And you had people that were farmers, people that were real estate developers, city planners, and environmentalists. Now you think of all 4 of those, and all of those kind of have their own agendas. So how are we going to get people together to make some kind of a committee? And with Al's leadership, we did that. And now we have the PACE program. It's one of the very few programs of this type in the state. And I would say that if Al has a legacy at all related to the county board, it's the PACE program. That is his thing, and there's no 2 ways about it. Things like this matter to his constituents up in District 2. Nobody tries to run against Al when he runs. It's almost like, why bother? He's going to win. So if Al wanted to do anything up that way, he could pretty much just say he's running, and he'd be in there. Could be dog catcher, could be the chair of the town of Porter, might be back on our county board, something even bigger, who knows? But that's why he was elected 9 consecutive times. All unopposed, I should mention. Because up there they value integrity, commitment, and vision. Those are the things that Al brings to the table. I like to kid Al because when it comes around to election time, I say, I'm running for county board. Al is signing up for county board because he doesn't know what it's like to run against an opponent. But that's something that he earned. So anyway, I'd like to conclude, and I'm not saying this to be dramatic or because I'm caught up in the moment, but I will say that I think Al is the finest supervisor that I've had the privilege of working alongside in my 18-plus years on the board. He's a former colleague now, but he's still a good friend. So, Mr. Chair, congratulations and job well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you. I wonder where the red curly hair went. I'm going to start off by thanking my family standing behind me here. The job that I took on 18 years ago was difficult, to say the least. But I had a good teacher in Dick Towns. Dick was a family friend, and as is the Towns family. I also want to thank you, my team, that none of this could have happened without past and present supervisors that are on this board. We had recognized a lot of issues in the past. Serving on the Planning and Development Committee, we recognized the issues that small businesses were having. Tonight we have James Otterstein sitting in the back there. James and I worked together a lot on solving those issues. And then James' department, Andrew Baker, who could not be here this evening, was the right choice, Josh, for that position as Director of the Planning and Development and the Land Conservation Committee. He and I worked together, as did our committee, to develop that PACE program and other issues that dealt with the conservation and conserving our natural resources. So I'd like to end, thank Josh and past Administrator Mr. Knudsen, their foresight in appointing and backing the staff that they have given this county board is nothing short of a miracle. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, item 9, introduction of new resolutions or ordinances by supervisors for referral to appropriate committee.
At this time, is there any supervisor with a introduction of a new resolution? Please bring it forward at this time. Seeing none, next item, please.
Next item, item 10, reports. 10A, Finance Committee recommendations on remaining ARPA resolutions.
Supervisor Mawini.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will give a summary of it, and I think Kristen or Rich will fill in the blanks, if I can find my sheet. The recommendation from the Finance Committee is to take $600,000 of the 900 and whatever we got, 900 and some odd dollars. 600,000 would go to the tornado victims. $100,000 would go to each of the other entities that requested it. This is a recommendation. We all have formal resolutions at the next board meeting for any of this. Let Rich talk, or
Thank you very much. Yes, so we have a total of $994,064 remaining in ARPA funds that need to be committed by 12/31 of this year. Otherwise, we do have to repay those back to the federal government. So at Finance Committee today, they just deliberated and came to that recommendation of those approximate dollar amounts. $600,000 to the February tornadoes. Resolution will be coming to county board in August, and then approximately $100,000 divvied out between each to the Boys and Girls Club, the Community Health Uninsured Program, the YWCA Child Care Center, as well as the Can Do facility. With that recommendation, what will need to be done, we will be bringing those formal resolutions, updating them at the Finance Committee on August 8th, and then the tornado resolution for the victims of the February tornadoes will be at County Board that evening. So that would be a resolution that would need to be updated here at the County Board level because it's already passed the Finance Committee. But that is what we're looking to do, and we had asked for this recommendation and moving forward in this direction so that we could formalize and finalize the appropriate budget amendment needed for these ARPA dollars.
Thank you. So this will be coming back to us so that we will, so we know that on August 8th, so we can definitely have discussion, questions at that time, but this is just a report to kind of report out on what they're recommending. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, item 10B, Capital Improvement Plan.
Josh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. So want to at least briefly go over tonight some slides to talk about the capital improvement plan. At our last meeting, the last meeting I was here when I talked about the budget and gave you an update on that. I referenced the capital improvement plan in May when we had the pre-budget meetings. That was a significant part of the presentation to talk about our capital projects and how we're going to fund those. And so we've been talking for some time about trying to put this on the agenda. It seemed like a timely thing to do right now. Since we've just referenced it, to give you a little more depth of understanding about what the capital improvement plan, or the KIP, as we call it, represents. So I'm just going to go over some things here about our 2025-2029 capital improvement plan. So the capital improvement plan, we update that every year on sort of that rolling basis. And it really kind of serves as our strategic plan for capital purchases over those next 5 years. We ask department heads to submit those to the county administrator's office in the March timeframe about what they're thinking over the next 5 years. We have some criteria about what qualifies. They must be a minimum of $50,000 to be included in the plan, and they have to identify the funding sources. So funding sources, of course, can be tax levy, could be sales tax, federal and state borrowing, or other sources. And so that's sort of how that lays out. I don't expect you to see this, but this is just sort of what you will see. You don't have to read it, but you'll see this when you look into the KIP. Essentially, this is just what the page looks like. So you'll see that the department is listed, the project name. We give each project a number so we can track it over multiple years, whether it's new this year or an ongoing project. There's a narrative the department puts together to describe what that project is about, and then the 5-year sort of funding source plan. If that project were to come to fruition, you kind of see the total at the end. This one happens to be about the Sheriff's Office fleet vehicles, which is an ongoing project every year that we update. So at the end of the presentation, there'll be a website you can go to find the plan and look more in depth at these. In the front of the plan is also some analysis. Jody Serber from our office, who was here recently to talk about ARPA, she puts together this plan and does an analysis at the beginning to kind of give you an overview of what we're talking about. So in 2029, 5-year plan, there's 66 total projects. Total estimated cost would be over $141 million if they were all to go forward. Of that, just over $100 million would be county cost, and county costs can include things like levy, fund balance, sales tax, so forth. In 2025 alone, there were 45 projects that were included with almost a $29 million estimated cost. $22 million would be county cost if all those projects were to come to fruition. So here's going to be several of these kinds of charts, and again, kind of hard to see necessarily from where you are, but just to give you a sense, at the bottom here is just the departments that are included in the capital improvement plan, and you can see by the height the number of projects. So Sheriff's Office first, and you can see the largest one there. The next larger one is the airport. There's several projects at the airport that are included in the KIP. And then you can go on and see facilities management is the highest with 22 separate projects included in the KIP, and so forth and so on. Number of projects by year, even smaller. I think it's less important to see which specific departments here, but just to give you a sense of the flow here. And this is, again, by department. So again, the Sheriff's Office has several projects, but pretty stable because those are sort of annual projects that we just update and every year. You can see the airport has most next year, but then several in the following years. And again, facilities management, the other large one there, 17 of their projects would be in 2025 2025, and then decreasing number. Generally, you can see that the 2025 number would be the most because that is the closest, and we have the most understanding of what the needs are in the coming year. And as you get further out, we have less sort of certainty about what our needs are, and so there's fewer projects listed in the out years. So again, total cost of projects by department. Again, you can see here at the far end, Public Works now takes the lead in the height of theirs. And again, this is because these projects would be like highway projects and equipment purchases. And so those are even though they don't have the most projects, they have the most expensive projects. As you know, those are not cheap to pave and reconstruct highways. And then working back, again, facilities. And those of you who are wondering why in the world does county administration have the fourth highest dollar amount, it's because it's broadband. Now, I wasn't going to announce some new big thing here tonight, no new big initiative coming out of the administrator's office. It's broadband. So Randy, as you know, is managing our broadband projects for the county, and so we parked all of our potential future broadband investments in the administrator's office. And then by funding type, so there's a variety of funding types here, and a lot of sources that you wouldn't have necessarily thought of. We just list sales tax, federal and state and other. So this is the 5 years, sort of each 3 in order. And so this, if you look at this in the book, you'll see this. This just kind of represents where we're going to get funded from. And again, typically things like sales tax would be a good example of maybe where a lot of the funding comes from. But also things like fees in our land records office is another source that we can use sometimes for capital projects there. Number of projects by value and type. Construction projects are the most of our projects and the most value of our projects. Again, thinking about highway construction projects, but also equipment, as I mentioned, for highway and for facilities, vehicles, software, and then a variety of other things are included here. So 2025 projects. So some of this we've talked about before. I've used these in examples both in the May presentations for pre-budget and then again when I presented to you on the budget, but just to give you a sense. So the Sheriff's Office in the 2025 KIP had these projects. Again, the fleet vehicles we've talked about before, that resolution came to you before and you've already pre-approved the inclusion of that. There's a different number that you approved, but that was what was included at the time in the KIP. Emergency management had a command trailer essentially that was in the 2025 KIP that they were looking to move forward with here soon. At the airport, I mentioned there's several projects at the airport, a lot of fun stuff, as Supervisor Bob Zine mentioned, going on at the airport right now and in the next several years. And so this is interesting because those of you who aren't as involved at the airport and haven't been around for a long time to understand kind of how the funding works there for our capital projects at the airport, this is what I call the best deal in county government, because if we get included in the enumeration of projects, and you remember a resolution that came recently where we approve that at the board, then we get sometimes up to 95% funded by the state and federal government. And we're in a cycle right now where it's even up to 97.5% potentially for some of these federal aid projects. So we like to try to take advantage of that by having our local match, again, either from the fund balance the airport has or from sales tax. And so you'll see some of these projects, again, hopefully moving forward in 2025 and over the next 5 years and beyond. Human services typically is just transit vehicles. I mentioned broadband in county administration, and that's just an estimate. We don't really know how much that might be, but some of those fees that keep coming back in when the board approved the broadband projects, and we'll get some repayments, those will come back in, be reinvested in broadband, and so we'll have future projects potentially for you in the county. And then facilities management, again, has a lot. Some of these, again, will look familiar that I've used as examples in some of the presentations, but again, this would include things that mostly are maintenance that we need to keep up on our facilities, but also some potentially new things. Fairgrounds plumbing needs to be done to maintain the plumbing out there, but also over time, if you look in the KIP, you'll see other fairgrounds improvements that were reflected in the 2018 master plan that the board approved back at that time. Again, lots of facilities management projects, and you'll see another example. For example, tonight we have a roof replacement at UW-Whitewater at Rock County, and that's an ongoing project. We have a plan for replacing unnecessary roof issues out there, and so you'll see that in coming years as well as tonight. And then IT, of course, some both software over time, as well as some things like servers and laptops. DPW, I mentioned highway, but also parks. There's always some parks projects in here, such as shelter replacements, and then I mentioned highway construction, equipment replacement, and again, DPW also runs the county's motor pool, and so those costs are reflected here as well. With a different funding source, charges back to departments that end up being potentially tax levy that fund those purchases. So here, the full document, as I mentioned, is available online. If you go to the website, you click on or hover over departments, and you go to administration. On the left-hand side, there'll be something called capital improvement plan, or you can click that link right there, and it'll open the PDF version of that document. And there'll be a first page that'll come up will be a drone overview of the Sheriff's Office project construction that's currently underway, near completion. So that's the end there. It'll look like this when you go. So you can see on the left-hand side in blue there's the KIP, and then some description that goes over some of the things I talked about tonight with regard to criteria and how that works. And at the very bottom there, you click on that link, and you can view the capital improvement plan. So with that, just if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, you're welcome to go look at that. And if you have any questions after you do, please feel free to give us a call in the office, and we can answer your questions about capital projects. But any questions at the moment?
Seeing none. Next item, please. Thank you, Josh.
Next item, 11, new business. 11B, contracts. B1, awarding the contract for roof replacement at the University of Whitewater, Wisconsin at Rock County.
Is there a motion? Motion by Supervisor Bryan. Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Wilson. Supervisor Bryan.
I'll have Brent talk about the next three.
Okay.
Hello, this resolution is replacing roof section number 11 on the UW Rock County campus. We've got probably 23 sections of roof. We did analysis, and we have a 5-year replacement plan. This roof was actually scheduled to be done last year due to the number of leaks and patching that we've been doing. I think Supervisor Yuri Rashkin can recall a conversation he had with me about that a couple of years ago. And we budgeted to do this roof the prior year, and the cost was going to be higher, so we switched and did a different roof. So this one is on that schedule to be replaced due to its life expectancy. And we are within budget to do this project. We actually came in under budget on this one.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Supervisor Schwartz.
Thanks, Chair. Just one quick question. What is the current roof system on Section 11? Is it a BUR as well?
It's a built-up roof. It's a
BUR.
EPDM, but it's built up underneath. That's what cost us. That's why we had to defer it. Once we did some coring, there was some more built up underneath it that we had to do. But
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, this is roll call. Please vote.
Yes, 29, no, 0.
Thank you. That passes. Next item, please.
Next item, item 11B2, awarding the contract for theater rigging upgrades at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, Wisconsin at Rock County.
Right. Supervisor, is there a motion? Motion by Bryan. Supervisor Bryan, and second by Supervisor Wilson.
Okay, so this one is the theater rigging. We had a maintenance inspection that was done on that theater rigging, and then they found it to be hazardous due to the steel beam. And they gave us in that report a whole list of items that need to be repaired. So we stopped using it momentarily. We replaced the steel beam. And then we got into doing the second part of the stuff that needs to be replaced. It came in over budget. And then so we waited on it. We tried to look for alternatives. And the alternative to doing it with the dollars we had remaining, which was $86,250. The original budget was $100,000. So we deferred, and then the only other way was like a dead lift system, which was not advisable due to the staff using it because of the amount of energy that it took to do that. And at the same time as when the roof bids came in, and the roof bids came in under budget, and that allowed us to have within that same capital account to be able to apply some of those dollars towards the rigging to be able to complete the entire project. So we're actually using about $50,000 worth of funds that was budgeted for the roof to cover this cost. And it's in the same, so it doesn't need a budget amendment, it's in the same capital account. But I wanted the board to know this one was actually coming over budget, and we did use the funds from the roof that came in under budget.
There is a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, please vote.
Yes, 29, no, 0.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, 11B3, awarding the contract for nursing program renovation at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater.
Motion by Bryan, is there a second? Motion Supervisor Mawini. Right.
Okay, all right. So this project is in our budget. We've got $400,000 budgeted for this project. This is bringing a nursing home program to our UROC campus. This is actually funded through donations. It's not our tax dollars that's covering this cost. We went out for bid. We had it engineered. We went out for bid, and we came in under budget. We've got 2 bidders that bid on it, and I would we vetted them out, and to be very able to do the project, very competent to do the project, and is ready to go at any time as soon as we give them the okay.
Okay, there is a motion and a second. Any questions? Supervisor Sutherland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you just elaborate a little bit on what all is going to be done for, is it accommodations or is it classrooms or?
Yep. So
additions?
So we're taking an existing room that was used, and I've got the dean is here if they need additional detail, but I think I can get it. So we had one space that was used, and they stopped using it, didn't have a purpose, so that we're going to turn into where we're going to set up the hospital beds and actually mimic a hospital setting where you got the head wall and all that stuff. And then in the other section is where some of the classroom is. There was some walls that were put up for different programs that's no longer there. That's going to be removed and it's going to be opened up to really display for more classroom settings. Yes.
When you do a nursing program, you need both a simulation lab and a skills lab, and so both are being done in this particular case. The skills lab is for generally like how do you do IVs, et cetera, and then the simulation lab will have the mannequins, which Edgewood College is supplying all of the actual technical equipment and then we are self-funding the construction of the lab space, and it's the remodeling. So both of those two. Close, but I just want to add a little detail.
I just thought
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, this is roll call. Please vote.
Yes, 29, no, 0.
Thank you. That item passes. Next item, please.
Item 11C, authorizing purchase of specialized transit vehicle.
Is there a motion? Motion by Supervisor Knutson. Is there a second by Supervisor Woodman? Supervisor Knutson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Human Services Department's Aging Unit operates the Specialized Transportation Program under Section 85.21 of Wisconsin statutes to provide specialized transportation services for seniors and individuals with disabilities. Residents of Rock County greatly rely on this system as an affordable way to meet their needs to get to and from medical appointments, dialysis, shopping, employment, etc. This program currently provides an average of 108 rides per day in Rock County. These buses are very heavily used. I'm sure you've seen them around the county. The 2024 budget includes $145,000 in funding to purchase a transit vehicle for the Specialized Transit Program. Northwest Bus Sales Incorporated meets the transit program's needs. We'd appreciate your support as these buses are extremely hard to come by. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? There is a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Next item, please.
Item 12, adjournment.
Is there a motion? Motion by Bostwick. There's a second by Pierre. Any questions on comments on adjournment? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you.